and then we'll just get going. I think we're live.
Uh,
We are live. We are live.
Okay.
We are live.
Live.
I don't know why I'm
Do we
doing an
have a link?
Australian accent, but
I'm gonna
I
do
think you should do
Spanish
the
accent
whole
for this one.
the
yes.
whole interview in Australian accent. And I'll do British accent. How about that?
Yes, let's go. Anyway, guys, welcome to Action and Reaction. Pew 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 pew. This would have been like would have been like more amazing music and stuff. This is I guess a pilot episode, test run. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a pilot.
But yes, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Nico Nee, and I'm here with an idiot and one handsome man. Introduce yourselves, ladies.
Hello guys, I'm the idiot. My name's King Russo. You might know me from King Russo Plays. And yeah, the handsome man himself.
Hello, my name is Mikel Mike. I've got by like 1,000 names, but you can just call me Mike. That would be good. Mike, Mikel, I don't know, whatever you prefer. So hello.
So
You
just call him the handsome
hello,
man.
Mike.
Just call him the handsome man.
No,
Handsome man and an idiot and Nico Nee. That's how it's gonna
There you
go.
I like it.
So movie. What movie we'll be doing?
So this week's movie that we watched was Malcolm and Marie.
Mm-hmm.
This was an installment that came out on Netflix. I'm looking up the date and time it came out. I'll get it
So
for you guys
I mean,
in a
it
second.
came out what I think
It's quite recent though.
early this month. No,
yeah. Was
Yeah,
that 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks
maybe? I
ago.
don't know.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I think
So
it was.
what I understand is it's basically like a director and a girlfriend. They're talking about their relationship, and there's
Talk
lots
about
of
a lot
ups
of
and
stuff.
downs. They talk about his
Yeah.
movie. I think they came back from a movie premiere actually, like a red
Yeah,
carpet
that's
event or
correct.
something.
No, I think it was. Yeah,
No,
I
it was
remember
like
premiere
a-
or some sort of award.
Award
sort of
show
night.
or something. And yeah, so basically throughout the movie they talk about that, and yeah, a lot of interesting themes
Yeah.
and
It was,
stuff was
directed by
brought upon.
Sam Levinson. He was director. Anyone heard of him
Ooh.
before?
No,
but if we do a quick
think-
Google
Quite
search, I'm
interesting.
sure we can find out.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
quite interesting.
he's the showrunner of that TV show
Yeah,
called Euphoria.
Euphoria, and that's got Zendaya in it as well. So
I think
So
they
that's
had
probably
to,
where they got the.
yes.
Yeah, and they had to shut down production because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then he came up with this story.
Mm.
And they had to be quarantined for like 2 weeks before they started shooting and everything. So, it was this guy who
Yes.
just
I heard this was like a very
wonderful,
quick
isn't it?
production as well,
Yeah.
so it wasn't like
yeah.
which you could probably tell because there's only like one location scene really inside the house, and that's
Yeah,
about
just
it.
the house, which is it's really good. 2 actors.
Mm.
It's such a small production, but with such a
Yeah.
big effect, and it's really deep. And I think this is the thing with film is like, if you're going to do something that's not massive explosions, if you do something with very small, do you know what I mean, it has to be perfect and it has to hit the point. Do you guys feel like it did that for you?
I think
I mean, to me, it was very
the best.
intense.
it was.
Ah.
I feel like sometimes it was a bit too intense though. In my
Yeah.
opinion, I feel like it was obviously it was very dialogue driven, monologues and all of that, and like stuff like that. But I feel like it was just a bit too much. At some points, I feel like simple like words or simple actions could have just done it. But instead, they were like, no, we have to hit them with a hard hit speech, a hard hit monologue, a hard hit dialogue. And then I was like, oh, it's a bit too much, just a tad too
Yeah.
much. But
Do you feel like, yeah, I totally agree with that. There are moments for me where the dialogue was great and I was sucked in and I was like, whoa. But then
For
it kind
sure.
of got to a point where it was like too much and I was a little bit like drawing back a little bit, kind of not so much focused on the film as much. But then it comes back to those moments like, okay, it's getting juicy again, let's get back into it. You know?
Yeah.
Was it the kind of film you not expected when without watching it before you watched it? You saw the trailer, you saw the actors. You kind of, I could take it, you went in with some sort of expectation of like, look, this film's going to be like quite big actors. You have Zendaya, you have John,
true.
John Washington Jr. Do you know what I mean? What was expectations versus realities? Let's do that.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
Good question. Good start. I don't know. I knew it was gonna be slightly different because obviously it's all in just black and white as well. Black and white, same scenery, just those two, no one else. So I was like, this is gonna be quite interesting because obviously storytelling and like character development wise, it was done pretty well. I mean, there's only 2 of them, but I feel like I got to know both sides of their story pretty well. Sometimes it's always
Yeah.
either like male driven or female driven, and that you only know one side of the story. But this one was pretty good of telling both sides. Then that was done pretty good. I don't know. I feel like it was a bit too long for me, personally.
I think actual runtime went out to be 1 hour and 39 minutes.
So
That was actual runtime of the film.
I feel like maybe just an hour, maybe that would have been slightly better. But that's just personal preference. I like shorter episodes and shorter films.
There's a moment in the film where you think, okay, this is the ending, but then you've got one more scene and then another scene. Is like that, took me a bit off. It's like, what the hell is going on?
You're like, what's happening?
Yeah. Because I thought it was an ending, but then it wasn't. I was like, okay, yeah. I don't know. To me, it was something different right from the beginning because it's black and white, and Nico said that. But to me, it was like, okay, now I'm walking into something completely different. And lately Netflix has been releasing these films like these blockbusters with explosions and everything, and to me that was something completely like different from what I've seen lately.
It's nice to get something simple, something much calmed down from what you are typically used to seeing.
And you feel that you are in the room with them all the time, and that's kind of like weird because you feel that yourself, you're inside that house and being part of the dialogue and everything that they are discussing. And to me, that was very well achieved. Like, okay, you got me there.
I like that.
But then there was some moments where I like disconnected. Like, okay, maybe as you said, like it's too much. But overall, I think it was a good impression. And I was definitely I didn't get surprised when I watched the film. I was like, okay, this is what I was expecting. It surprised me. But I was expecting something like that,
Yeah,
something that
makes sense. Yeah, I'm the same as well. So, going into the film, I knew it's been out, and obviously I heard from a lot of different people, loads of mixed reviews. It's great, it's that. So, I tried to sort of put all that to the side. So when I watched it with an unbiased sort of viewing. And you're expecting these two actors, so I knew that based off the films that they've made and the series that they've been in, I knew sort of the type of acting that I was going to see during this film. I knew it was going to be very strong, very emotional acting. So yeah, and then I begin to watch it, and then the opening image is great. It had me in there. It had me hooked. I'm not gonna lie. Great film director come back from this award evening or this presentation. He's got a bit of James Brown on. He's dancing. I'm like, wow, I kind of like this. And then as the film goes on, they do touch on like a lot of serious topics, that kind of stuff. And essentially, we follow this journey between this couple. They bring up a lot of stuff about the past, and are we doing spoilers on this podcast or are we not? Like,
I mean, we're discussing the film, so we might as well. You know what I mean? So
we got to put like a spoilers thing at the start.
Spoilers.
So, but yeah, like it's essentially the whole argument is because he didn't thank her. Do you know what I mean? On the podium. But I guess it's more than that. I guess it is more than not thanking her on the podium. It's just acknowledging like what she's done and a little bit. And obviously you can understand from both point of views why both those reactions are there. I just want to touch upon what you said about feeling trapped, Miguel, and you're feeling immersed in that scene and you're actually there. Like, I totally agree with you there. And you can kind of feel like in some scenes if you stepped in the character of Marie, where they're arguing and she's like, oh, I want you to leave, let me go a little bit. You do feel trapped and you do feel in there because it's all in this one location. This is all we see. This is the world that we know. Do you know what I mean? It's all in this house. And in a typical relationship, if you were to have an argument, okay, I'm gonna get some air. You go outside and you come back after a while and it's all blown over. But they're both trapped in this place and there is no escaping from this conversation. You have to have this conversation, and you see they have various arguments, and after every argument they walk away, think about it, and then they come back and then it starts again. But they walk away, come back, and then it starts again. So in terms of like making you feel immersed and making you feel like, wow, I'm actually here, I think they did a great job there. Yeah, shout out to the
And
production crew on that.
the first scene or shot, like it lasts for like 20 minutes, something like that. It's something
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Like, to me, that really
The
got
opening
me. I
shot.
was like, is the whole film gonna be like this? Which was quite interesting, but then no, they cut, and
Yeah, they do.
But you see the car like going into the house, and that was
He comes out
beautifully
the car,
shot to me.
walks into the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think visually,
Beautifully
I
shot.
like the whole black and white, and it kind of gave me a little bit of that film noir feel a little bit. Especially where he comes into the kitchen. No, he's already in the kitchen. He pours himself a glass of alcohol beverage, puts on the music, and he starts dancing. And the camera's tracking, like he goes from left to right. You see him move. Then the track's left from right to left. Sorry, and then we go into like it kind of passes blinds or like some sort of blinds they have in a house. And that I looked at that and instantly it's like, wow, this really has some sort of a film noir style to it, film noir feel to it.
For sure,
yeah,
especially with the soundtrack as well, with the like undertones of like jazz and like classical music in there as well. It did really give you that like film noir-esque. So yeah, I agree with that one. That was a good pick up on that one, Riso. Themes. There's a lot of very interesting themes throughout the movie, I feel like.
What do you... Oh, go ahead.
I mean, obviously, the main one of her being all depressed and, like, suicidal, dare I say, and stuff like that. And there was a whole scene with her and the knife, and things were getting very intense. What did you guys think about that? Or, like, even throughout the whole film, there was always lots of hints of her being depressed. Although it might come across as her becoming crazy almost, but I don't think it did, but to some people it might be.
A little bit, I think. I mean, even Marie used herself after that scene. She's like, I'm crazy, I stole from your mom. Do you know what I mean? And the thing about it is that I don't feel the type of way about doing that. Do you know what I mean? I feel normal. And we see throughout the film, on various occasions, Malcolm calling her like, "You're crazy." Something psychologically wrong with you and that kind of stuff. And he's dropping these themes, If you would necessarily tell that to the person you necessarily love, I don't know personally, but I think that yeah, he does touch upon it. But I think he is technically allowed to do that, because he has grown up with his wife essentially. So I'm saying took her from the very, very bottom and made her into this strong, independent sort of woman now who kind of can stand on her own feet and fight back a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I like the whole storyline of she thinks that he wrote this whole screenplay based on her life. So I guess from her point of view, I can see her taking out on him, and I can see her getting angry to the point where she's getting crazy. It's like, look, you've basically stole my whole life story and made it into like a film, and I've got nothing for it, no credit, nothing, no appreciation,
And to me, what was funny is that he directed a film based, her life, and as a director, you need to understand your characters. So I think, I had this feeling of he understands her to a point, like, he actually knows that person. So anything that she could say is new for him. But then you've got this scene where she fakes the whole thing, just acting, and it's like, wow, and you still get surprises. And to me, like this whole game of like, he thinks he knows her, but then, at the same time he doesn't, and she's still able to surprise him. I think this game that they play. Oh, yeah. I don't know, Nico, what did you think? Because that was quite interesting for me,
No, I agree. No, it was very interesting. Like the whole, like, is she or is she not who she says she is, kind of, almost. That's how it was kind of portrayed for me anyway, even though we've been almost about, an hour into the movie, so we know that's not who she is per se. I don't know if that makes sense.
What do you mean by who she actually is? Do you think
well,
she's
as in,
pretending
like,
to be someone else?
Well, she wasn't pretending. I don't think so. I don't think anyone really does pretend to go to that extreme just to get someone's love and affection.
Attention.
Um,
Yeah.
and if they do, you need serious help. You need to go to the doctors and you need to go get some help. But no, I don't know. I have all this thinking in my head, but they cannot come out in words.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
I did feel like it was quite repetitive though. You know, although they weren't having the exact same conversations over and over again, the arguments was repetitive, and I think like it kind of prolonged for a bit too long.
Yeah. Because you knew when an argument was about to happen. Like, to me, that was the thing. Like,
you can tell. You know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's coming, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you know it's going to escalate
like
up until the point where they have the final argument.
They both explode. Yeah.
Almost
literally.
as if they want to kill each other.
Well, almost.
Almost. Anything else? Any other themes or messages we think?
Oh, okay.
came
Yeah, there's quite
across?
a few themes. There was a lot of sort of drug talk, a lot of drug abuse. Not drug abuse so as such as we see in the film, but talked about in the past history. Again, this is about Marie and sort of her as a character, her life and where she's come from to be where she is. And even Malcolm, he's very, very aware of that. Obviously taking her from being a drug addict, taking her to rehab, that kind of stuff. Malcolm is very aware of that, and he mentions it quite a few times to her, and he's scared for her. He says, don't quote me word for word, but something along the lines of, "Oh, I was scared that you're gonna go back and collapse and go back into it and have to go back into rehab, that kind of stuff." I thought that's very good, and then we see her smoking a lot. I think this is sort of her escape. She can't go and do drugs, so she'll have a cigarette instead. Do you know what I mean? And then you see the time she has cigarettes. Yeah, it's like when it's kind of bored over too much, and she's upset, but she doesn't want to say anything about it. She doesn't do anything about it. I'm just gonna go and smoke. That's what she does. The first time we see her smoke is the opening scene where he comes home, he's dancing on the table. She's obviously clearly upset. Yeah. When you watch it at the start, it's Malcolm's world. He comes home and he's on a high, he's buzzing. He comes in, puts on the music, turns up loud. He's talking to her. "You look beautiful today." She's like, "What? I can't hear you. The music's loud." He doesn't even think about, "Let me turn it down to hear what she's saying." He's in his world. Yeah, and he has every right to be. Imagine yourself as a film director doing a massive, you premiered your massive film. Do you know what I mean? And you've got all these critics there, all these high people, so he comes on a high horse, and then she's like, "You know what? I'm not gonna deal with this. Let me just have a cigarette and just compose myself a little bit." But yeah, that's what I think in terms of like another theme, I guess. I went on a little bit too long there, but yeah.
I mean, you could have just narrowed it down to escapism, but you know what? That works too.
That's what I meant. That's why you're here, Nico, right?
No, but that's
we should get Alison in the chat.
Do you know what? Alison, if you're watching, hello.
Sponsor.
Another thing I wanted to point out is, how do you feel, ourselves, not calling ourselves filmmakers, but being in the film industry, watching this film? To me, it was like, something to think about, because he's, he talks about his beginnings, and now he's this known director, but he's coming from
it's coming up.
And to me, myself as a
100%.
filmmaker, I'm looking at him and I'm like, wow, he made it. And he keeps talking about these and what the industry needs, and even just talking about Citizen Kane and what that meant. Like, people are not gonna like this shit. Like, they want other stuff.
I think in terms of this film, this is quite a good film. If you do any sort of filmmaking courses, or you study any sort of creative course where you have to make some sort of art using a camera, you can appreciate it from the whole. You appreciate the whole film as a whole. I like to break it down to two things. Yeah, I like to break it down into the actual technical filming side, the cameras, the lighting, how that is, and the story. You know, the story that's there and the characters and how that story makes you as the audience feel. You know, and I think they smashed both those jobs out the park. Honestly, both those jobs out the park. The film was visually beautiful and it was visually, stunning. Yes, it's in black and white, yeah, which I think as a viewer kind of makes you watch it. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I just think, personally, if you were to watch film in color, you'd be like 10 times more as likely to stay attentive, stay in the scene than it is black and white. Do you know what I mean? So the film being in black and white already is going to set the audience, like that you're going to sit there and dedicate yourself to this black and white film. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not a common thing you see nowadays. It's not a common practice. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
And people who are not used to like watch films, as soon as they see something in black and white, they say it's boring. Like I'm not
Instantly.
gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I'm recommending this film to my friends, and I think they're avoiding to watch it just because it's black and white.
It's black and white, right?
To me, like as soon as you get into these worlds, like the world that they create in the film, it changes completely because the things they talk about, and it's very it's moving all the time. It's like a roller coaster. It's going down.
100%. Let's just talk more about the black and white color. Sorry, the whole idea of it. Another film I haven't seen, not film sort of series. I haven't seen any of it yet, but I know of it. WandaVision. Yeah. You seen that, Nico?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
on
haven't
my
watched
list.
it yet. Sorry. I need to get
spoilers. I haven't watched anything.
I'll just touch up on it. But isn't the first episode in black and white, and then it goes to color? Yeah. Is that correct?
It's not just black and white. It's the aspect ratio. It takes you back to like
it changes as well.
50s. Yeah. It's
70s. So artistically, you can tell if it's done intentional. Because if you're gonna look at a 1950s television that has that aspect ratio that is black and white, that's gonna set the feel for it. But if you set a modern day film, with a modern day 16:9 or whatever aspect ratio is, that is black and white already, then that tells you a lot, because black and white is typically used for, flashbacks or, showing something in the past. Do you know what I mean? All the photos you have that are probably, 30 years old are in black and white. Do you know what I mean? So we unintentionally, subconsciously put black and white on the head with old, not new. Do you know what I mean? I'm not speaking for everyone here, innit? I'm just speaking in general terms, yeah.
No, he's speaking for the whole general public, the whole world.
You're wrong.
The aliens as well. He's speaking for everyone out there. Jupiter and Mars, if you're listening. He's talking to you as well. No, I definitely agree.
This is the whole point of the podcast. Like, I can say what I want to say, and you can't really judge me.
I mean, as long as it's guideline friendly, you can pretty much say what you want to say.
Yeah, but in terms of the art style and the choice of, do you think the film would have been different if it wasn't color?
Completely, like totally, like
completely.
To me, it would have been a completely different film because, it's a film that speaks about people and about film, and it's just you've got two sides, you've got him, you've got her. You've got two perspectives, you've got two different people, and you've got two colors. That's the way, to me, the way I see it. Like you've got shadows in the middle, but it represents, which like narratively, it represents that. Like, these two people having a conversation. It's, Malcolm and Marie, and then you've got black and you've got white, like it's this,
Ebony and ivory. Yeah. Which is black and white,
Oh, all right, he's coming in with his terminology now, guys. 3 years of film school, and this is what it's come to. But no, I definitely do agree, though. I feel like if it was in color, I feel like the attention to detail in certain scenes would have been lost. Like I feel like the highlights and the shadows in the black and white tones. I feel like it was there to draw on your eye and your attention towards it.
Yeah.
I feel like if it was in color, if it was like bright, I don't know, blue or whatever the room is, I don't know what color it is because it's black and white, so we don't know. But I'm saying if the house was like very colourful and they're having an argument, I don't feel like it will just match the tone. Whereas black and white really does match the tone of the story being told. And I keep going like this to my microphone. I'm sorry, but like it's just a habit.
You feel more professional when you have the mic in your face.
It's just a habit.
I know. I feel like as well, the film being black and white, just takes the whole not the whole mise en scène, but like 80%
another
of the mise
fancy
en scène
word?
away,
What does mise en scène mean for those who don't
For
understand?
those who don't know what mise en scène means, mise en scène is everything that is inside the shot that you see. Yeah, this can go from the cut, the interior design to the props to the clothing, to the hair to the makeup. Is everything you see in it. So I think putting the film black and white, takes away 80% of the mise en scène of color. So now you have to focus on what's really there, and because you're not focused too much on the background, that kind of stuff, it kind of points you to focus strictly on the dialogue and the actions happening in the scene. The spacing between the characters, how the characters are towards each other, and you see throughout their arguments, that they have, after every argument, it's either a victory or it's a loss, and you tell. After some arguments, for example, I can't quite remember which one it was, but they both ended up on the floor together. She went to get something to eat, came back, and she's now sitting on top of him. Like, now they're close together. They don't have another argument. The one in the bath. After the argument, they're separate again. Do you know what I mean? Or I'm not sure if they leave or if he comes and tries to find her a little bit. But yeah, like that. I think that's what I have to say.
Is that all you have to say?
Yeah.
Is that all we have to say? Is there more? Like,
Oh, for sure. Let me ask you guys a couple questions then, since we're kind of like finding.
No.
Ask away.
How did it make you guys feel as the audience? Like, what sort of emotions did you feel, or was you kind of just watching it for the sake of watching a movie? Did it move you in any way?
I mean, I watched it on a Sunday afternoon, and I was feeling whatever the characters were feeling. And to me, if they were laughing, I was laughing. If they were sad, like, it took me to, like, sad memories of myself, which was kind of weird. I just felt whatever they were feeling, which was quite strange. Like, as I said, I was there in the room with them, so whatever they were saying, it just resonates with me, and I don't know, it was a weird experience, I'd say.
No, I completely understand, because when I was watching it, I was just sitting there and I was like, damn, I gotta relive my life, not relive my life, but rethink about my life now, because I'm like, fair enough, there's certain not situations intense as that, but there's been situations where I could have spoke upon it or approached them a little bit different. Like, sometimes you do have to have those conversations to move on, or as they say, forgive and forget, you know what I mean, or like, feel that empty burden inside of you, like, oh, if I didn't leave that, then what could have happened? So then it definitely didn't make me not change my life per se, but it did make me think about certain situations. If they ever come across again, how would I approach it the next time going forward?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But no, I was pretty much, I mean, again, the whole point of just being them two in one room, or one setting, should I say, it does definitely bring you towards them much more than any other film. So it definitely does make you become almost part of them, like a weird little family almost. You're like, oh my god, mommy and daddy are fighting. Like, do you know what I mean? So you kind of like, you're also feeling their emotions as well. I think, anyway, that's what my opinion, don't hate me.
I think there are parts where I felt connected, and in the scene, there are parts where I'm just totally like, yo, what? What are you talking about, dude?
What are you talking about?
You know what I mean? What are you talking about, dude?
Excuse me.
For me as a filmmaker, and when I watch films, I like to be connected to the film, and I want to feel involved, and I want it to move me, as the last film that I saw that really made me, like, I felt connected, I moved, was Queen and Slim. Not sure if you saw it or not sure if you heard of it,
I
but it's about the
haven't
tale
watched
of
it,
two
no.
African Americans who essentially kill a cop and then go on a run. Not on purpose. It's not like, hey cop, let me just shoot
Hey,
you.
pew pew pew.
Not like that. Not like that. But they basically accidentally killed a cop, and obviously he pulls them over for like some stupid bumper thing, and he like kicks their car out on purpose. Like, look, my he's broken. They get in a scuffle. He shoots them, and they go on a run. And then the whole time they're on this run, I'm there with them. I was like, shit, don't get caught. Get down, get down. It's like, quick, go, 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 escape, escape. Like, do you know what I mean? I like when a movie makes me be like that a little bit. In this movie, the only sort of way for me to connect or me feel like, okay, I can understand this, it's just kind of based off, previous relationships that I've been in and arguments that I've had with my second sort of, partner, should we say. So in that sense of things, it's kind of like made me, understandable. Maybe relate a little bit. But I think the way how do real couples work like that? That's what I was thinking a little bit. It was like, is that how it would happen? Really? I know they kept saying again and again that this is the worst argument we've had ever. But in my head, it's like, well, if someone had an issue, what I would do personally is we sit down about it, we talk about it, come to a conclusion, and that's it, move on. And I felt like that argument there, I don't know if it was just done on potentially for the sake of screen, or if it was just genuinely how those two characters, those two people say they were in real life would actually act like. Do you know what I mean? So that I wanted to feel connected and I wanted to be involved and I wanted to get there, but I just felt like every time I took a step forward, it was kind of like a pushback. I was like, come on, let me try again. It was like a little bit. That's just my,
I think it's because they have like 3 or 4 arguments in one night, and that's why I think it's too much. But I think what they were trying to do is just sum up what the relationship is, and what you see in one night, it's what happens in a relationship maybe in like 20 years, because you go through those up and downs. It's crazy how the film takes you from like them laughing to like them crying. It just takes you 20 minutes to go from there to like
But that's good though. Like in a story, you need a journey. You need a journey of starts here, finishes here.
And
100%.
I think they are telling us this is just a one night thing, but then in reality, usually this doesn't happen. It takes you, years to like develop these kind of arguments, because they are very honest to each other. Like that to me was very shocking.
When he sits on a bath, and he's like, "Listen, the film's not about you, and he goes and he starts naming, he starts naming all the different girls he's being with. I was like, whoa, you need to be at some sort of level of intimacy with your second half in order to even think about doing that. Yeah. That scene, that was a great scene. That was a. Well, out of all the scenes, was there any scene in the film that you said, I like this scene? This scene is probably the best out of all the ones.
The one you just talked about, to me, that was the one that took me. I was
the
like,
bath scene,
I was gonna say that one or the opening. Straight away, I was like hooked from that one long shot of them, going into the house and stuff like that.
Because you've got a lot of questions. To me, that was the thing. I had like a lot of questions at the beginning. I was like, "Whoa, is this going to be like a one-shot thing where they're just gonna, go from one side to the other of the house?" I mean, and I was just curious to like know what was going to happen with the film, and the beginning was also something that I was like, "Wow, you got me. You got me."
It always is. The opening image of any film, you're sat there and you're like, "Okay, what am I going to get myself into? What am I seeing?" I think it's great the way it transitions nicely. So you basically essentially got a shot of like half of the house, some bushes, and then you don't notice it's drive until the car comes in. And then you got credits playing on top. The actors, executive producers, all these important people, and then you see the car pull in, and then I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute. And then it goes into this basically really like long one shot take of them getting out of the car, both of them getting in. And then we see Malcolm go into the kitchen, and we see Marie. It's quite explicit. Not it's not explicit, but like she comes in, she pulls out her pants, she uses the toilet, you know. And then I think even that it starts to set you up and let you know
You're
that
like,
look, this is the film.
What kind of film is this?
To, you know? Yeah, do you know what I mean? And it's great. Yeah, I think that I would like to have seen more sort of nice film techniques used within the film, more challenging shots that made you go, whoa, that's
But
cool.
do you think that's even really needed though? Because it was so heavily dialogue driven and monologue driven. Do you really think there needs to be like an intense, I don't know, like a dolly track or something like that, or steady cam or something? 'Cause I think most shots were handheld, seems to be handheld.
It's got to be moving in order to show the in the scene. This is what's happening. If it's on sticks, as you would say, you know instantly that it's calm. It's stable, you know. It's solid here. There's nothing here. But when the moment you take it off and it goes handheld, and you start to see some of this camera shake and it's this intensity, it just shows you, the intensity of the scene and where sort of the scene is sort of going essentially, you know.
And
but I think, sorry.
I just remember that shot where like he's looking for his phone. And the camera is not moving, and you can see the phone is right there, and he's looking for it. To me, that worked really well.
That was a really good shot.
If you try and cutting like 3 or 4 shots, it wouldn't work. But you've got one shot where like he leaves the phone there on the table, and then he starts looking for it, and you know it's there, and he's looking for it, and you feel like, oh my god, like come on.
What you doing, man? It's right there.
Let's talk about
shots. Effective just having one shot than just moving the camera around. Of him just looking for the phone. To me, that worked best. Just having one shot with the phone right there.
I think that whole shot. Yeah, let's talk about shots now. Let's go and talk about more. Like start breaking down some shots and stuff. The mise en scène in that shot, is great. Yeah. So what essentially is happening in this scene is that it's just one shot that's just kind of like on the edge of the table, and then you've great use of depth of field, by the way. And it's from the kitchen, and you can see all the way into the bedroom, I believe. And then by the kitchen you have this mirror as well, where you can see Marie sitting. Everything in that shot is calm, is smooth, it's solid. Apart from Malcolm, who's frantic. He's just got this review come in, and he's the only one who's moving in the scene. And if you watch Marie, watch how she moves. Marie's calm, her legs folded. Do you know what I mean? He's like, what's he looking for? He's looking for something else before he says his phone. You know, he's like, she's calm. She's like, have you checked this? No, check here. You know, he's freaking out. Like, where
I was actually laughing at that scene because she's just so calm. Like, she was like, did you check the bedroom, dear? Did you check the drawer? And then he's like, where's my phone? Where's my fucking phone? And she's like, over there.
It's on the table, yeah. I think even that is great. Do you know what I mean? Because she's sat on the left-hand side of the screen. At the right-hand side, sorry, as far right as you can get potentially, and then he's sort of in the middle, crossing between right-hand side, left-hand side, coming, front of the camera, left-hand side, all that kind of stuff, freaking out. And I think, like, you wouldn't think something as little as detail as that would have that effect on you as an audience, thinking like, and showing you that like this guy's panicking, and it emphasizes that more. Do you know what I mean? And her being calm, her sat is emphasized a lot more as well. Another shot that I liked, actually, that I really liked, was towards the end. He gets out of bed. I think he's freaking out because he thinks she's left, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes outside, and then it's shot from inside the bedroom.
Yeah.
You have the bed and the windows.
That window
almost looks like a painting.
Really
I saw that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So simple, but it's perfect. It's perfect, and it almost does remind me of a painting a little bit, where it's just Marie standing in there, and you've got the window, you know.
And that at that point you don't need dialogue to understand what's happening. The shot is telling you everything. Like she feels alone, and she's alone, and then he's trying to comfort her. Like to me, visually. I mean, dialogue is everything in this film, I'd say, but you've got these moments where just, you take a break from dialogue and you've got these kind of beautiful shots that are telling you a lot.
Wish I used them for my films.
Of all of the fun, though, I'm not sure if you guys know this as well, like in screenwriting, is that you don't always have to say it. through dialogue. Why don't you show it? Do you know what I mean? Show us through an action. Show us through a
Show
shot.
it,
Show
don't
us through.
say it.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Do you know what I mean? I think that's great. That what they did a lot through those scenes as well. Yeah. Any other shots?
But
in the
do you
film
feel
that make
like?
you guys, apart
But do you feel like they had to do that because it was just those two in that location, or do you feel like it was done, you know, creatively regardless?
Miguel?
Just put you guys on the spot there.
What
I
do you
want
mean,
Miguel to
like-
answer. So
Well,
I
as
had
in
to
like,
think.
well, obviously because it's just those two, and obviously it's very like dialogue driven. Do you feel like they had to make those creative like shots and scenes just to break it down and just give it like a different
Definitely,
pace,
but-
or do you feel like they just done it for the sake of showing off? Because I know some films that do that, but I don't feel like this is
Yeah.
one of those films though.
You know, yeah. In any film, Get by Marlowe,
He will be back.
he will be back. Let's hope. Yeah. In any film, you need a break from whatever is driving this film. You need a break, and in this film, we need those shots because it's so
he's
intense.
completely gone.
He's completely gone. Let's hope
It's just
he'll
us
be
two
back.
now.
Should we keep going, Nico?
Yes, keep going.
So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So yeah, I think it was planned that you needed a break from all that dialogue and
Oh,
hello.
there he is. He's
Hello,
back.
sorry, I got disconnected.
Russo is back.
No problem. So I was saying that I think it was planned. Like they thought, this is gonna be heavy dialogue. So every now and then we need a break. We need to show something that we don't need words to understand. It's just a shot telling us what's happening. And it happens more than once. Even there's this moment where like he's walking out and you see her smoking again from the other side of the house, and it's just a wide shot after that big argument that they have outside. And I think they use the wide shots to tell that, to have a break. Come on.
I think they also use the wide shots to show the after a heated argument, I can't find the word I'm looking for, but it's basically the word that says distance between characters. A juxtaposition. So if you look at the juxtaposition, I gotta sound fancy. Come on now, I'm doing a film podcast. Like, if you look at the juxtaposition, between both of them in that wide shot. I mean, the point of a wide shot is to show you, look, this is how big. You're looking at everything in the frame, and it's quite wide. And then you see the juxtaposition between both of them, and after the heated argument, they're not close together. They're not, they're quite far away. And another shot as well is when they've had an argument and he's walking. I think he walks out of the house and he's walking. And he's like getting angry. He's like beating up the air a little bit before he turns around and thinks, he's like, shit, okay, now what am I gonna say? Then he goes back in and commence argument number 81.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So far we've talked about shots, we've talked about themes.
We have to do the ultimate. We have to do the ultimate discussion here. Rotten Tomatoes. What review did it get on Rotten Tomatoes? I feel like.
Do you feel like Rotten Tomatoes is quite harsh though, or do you feel
Nah,
like
because it's based on critics, but also based on audience as well. So I feel like it's like the middle ground of reviews, if that makes sense. But I don't know. I didn't really look into it though. But
I've actually got it up right now. So
what does it say?
What's this?
Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter,
59.
which I believe,
Oh my god.
which I believe is the critics gave
Yes.
it 59.
Ooh. But then the
59.
audience.
I mean,
To be fair, it's still
and
a brand new
audi-
movie though. I feel like not
Yeah,
many people have
to- yeah,
watched it.
yeah, but I
But
mean,
it's
when the movie
critics.
comes out,
They're
critics
really,
have like
like-
3 days. Yeah, they set it. They set it.
And like
So,
from the first hour it's released.
and the audience gets 69. 69.
That's
So
not
that's
too
quite
bad,
high.
you know.
That's basically, if you round it up, it's basically 60 and 70, essentially.
My guy said 60, 70. If you round it up, it is 70. It's
Yeah, but and if you
69.
round the tomato meter up, Rotten Tomato meter is 60, no?
Oh, as in that
That's
one.
the
Okay,
critics.
fair,
That's the
fair,
critics.
fair,
Yeah,
fair,
so
fair,
60
fair.
and 70. What do you guys think about in terms of where they distributed the film, Netflix?
Overrated.
Do you
Hot
think-
take, hot
like,
take, hot take. I feel like some Netflix series and movies don't deserve. Not that they don't deserve to be on Netflix, but I feel like everything's so bombarded on Netflix that I feel like some movies, not surpass, but like overtake other movies in terms of like promotion and stuff. And I feel like this might be one of those movies that might actually go under the radar a little bit, because there's so much content getting pushed out on Netflix now that it is crazy. But then again, I wouldn't. But then again, the current climate that we're in, obviously, cinema release, I feel like it would have done really good, purely because it's so different. And imagine seeing the scenes in a big screen and like IMAX cinema and stuff like that. It would be very, very intense.
I feel like, to be fair, I feel like you get, every once in a while, you get these films, what I like to call like off-the-wall films, you know, which doesn't tick this is how you make a film box, you know? It's different. It's a little bit off the wall,
I like
you know?
that one. I might have to write that one down.
I'm not sure if you guys are seeing this film, but it's called Sorry to Bother You, with Lakin Stanfield. Premise of that film is basically telecom sort of guy. He calls people for money, but you know it's a black actor. He's a black guy. He's a black character. He goes in, puts on his headphones on, and out comes a white voice. You know, of him talking on the phone and that kind of stuff. And the whole film is so different and it's so weird. It's very off the wall, and it's like whoa, was not expecting that a little bit. And I kind of feel like this film does touch that, kind of touch on that sort of off the wall. Like it doesn't, it meets classic cinema standards and kind of how I feel made, but there are parts and there are moments that don't comprehend to that, you know, the codes and conventions of film, you know. I had to think about Alison when I was reading. I was like, Alison.
Shout out Alison again if you're who knows, she might be watching this.
We're gonna have to send this to Alison.
We sent her this and you're like, is this good enough for a presentation? do we get a first?
Imagine.
No. For sure.
I was telling a friend to watch this film, and you know what I said to him was, watching this to me was a good experience. And that, you know, to me, it's saying a lot. It wasn't just watching a film. It was just, you know, watching picture. It was an experience, because I think that's what you feel and what made this film different. I don't know. And I wish I had watched it in the cinemas.
Yeah, I definitely feel like in terms of, I really, really like what you said there, Nico. I think you hit the nail on the head. I feel like the fact it's on Netflix, with already so much going on, so much new stuff just getting dumped every day, just getting dumped into Netflix. It's quite easy to overlook a film like this. It's quite easy to not be, you know, in the main sort of limelight. If it was done in the cinemas, you know, obviously, you know, in a non-COVID world, I reckon it would have got a lot more viewers and a lot more people in the cinemas and watching it,
sharing it.
Do you know what I mean? Like even if they got halfway through and was like, okay, it's not what I expected, is it me? But do you feel like if it was the cinemas, the whole sort of viewing experience would have been different?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I think because if you're not really a film person and you put the show on because you like the actor, you know, you've heard of him before, see a couple of stuff, you think, oh, it's going to be great. At home, at Netflix, you know, you can watch it, and if you're not a fan of it, if you're not really enjoying it, you can just back out halfway through. Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
And it's like, okay, not for me. What's the next show to watch? Whereas if you're in the cinema and you've paid £7, £8, £9, you know, £10 to watch this film, and you get halfway through it, you're not really going to be like, wow, mate, I just spent 10 quid on it, I'm going to walk out. Do you know what I mean? You kind of, you feel obliged to sit there. Really?
I've done it through The Kingsman 2.
The Kingsman 2? You can't say that on the podcast, Nico. You can't say that on the podcast.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, guys, having technical issues.
You're going to kick me out on my own podcast. You're funny.
Imagine. Nah, I'm joking. Nah. I think that was a good film.
The second one was horrible, absolutely horrible. I know we're going off topic here, and I can only apologize.
No, it's not. It's a film. It's a film chat. You know,
So
actions and reactions.
So bad. Oh, a little bit of name drop. It was so bad. Like, it was just like, because I loved the first one of the fact that it was so like he was figuring everything out, and then he got into it, and then like he was, you know, doing the missions and everything, and then the second one just completely lost the meaning of the first movie, completely dropped it to the ground and said, nah, the whole message and themes in the first movie doesn't exist. The second one is all about Elton John and saving him. And it was so bad. It was like the only like good things I do enjoy from the Kingsman was obviously the fight scenes. The fight scenes are phenomenal, the cinematography and all that.
Yeah, the way it's shot, everything visually.
But the story in the second one was whack.
Do you guys feel like, okay, we're going completely off topic now. I mean,
we are going to a different movie now.
But I think it's quite rare that you get a film that comes out and it's really good, and then they release a second film, and that second film is better than the first one.
I'm gonna have to pause you on that one, because I can at least name 2 movies that are better.
2, because I said it's quite rare though. I just said it's quite rare.
Toy Story 2.
You know?
Which ones?
I think Toy Story 2 is better than the first.
Okay.
And I think Shrek 2 is better than the first. Facts.
Okay.
To be fair.
Facts.
Miguel, what do you think?
But in terms of like bigger movies, I don't think there's that many.
Go on.
I mean, The Dark Knight was way better than Batman Begins, and I know you always say that.
I always forget
that
there's the first one. Because I'm like, The Dark Knight is so good. I'm like, that's the first one.
That's the first one. It's difficult to say, but when you're doing a sequel, people are going to think of the first film they watch, and you know that for them is still fresh, and whatever you do next is going to be worse than the first one. You play, you know,
it's because everything in terms of the second film, everything has to be bigger and better. You know, say in the first one you defeated Thanos in the first series. You have to get someone who's bigger and badder than Thanos. Do you know what I mean? In order for that to be second, but it can't be like too. I don't know. They usually go overboard with it, and it never really works out. Like, yeah, it's a good film, but come on, it's not as good as the first one, you know.
But then
I think it's because, you know, the first one you try to keep it simple, and then in the second one you try and introduce like more stuff, just because you've already shown stuff in the first one. So what you're going to do in the second one, you need to be fresh. You need to do something new, and you try to introduce more stuff, and then the equation, you know, becomes very difficult to solve. And you've got like more characters maybe, or if you've got like a villain that is way more powerful than the one that you've
had before.
And you try and do these things, and you know, do it like, let's take it to the next level, and that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. You know, I think it's very difficult to do a sequel as a writer, as a director. Like, how do you even like tackle that?
I know, you're absolutely right. To be fair, so
now more than ever, like we see like reboots and, you know,
all that.
Let's not go into that discussion.
Like, I think
no, that's another episode. But
just
that's another episode.
that have had a good first and a good second and maybe even a good third is Iron Man. You know. But even saying that, think about it. Iron Man 1 is the best one out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damn. Like, but in terms of let's talk in terms of the story, in terms of the villain, in Iron Man's good in the first one because look, he's in the middle of the desert and he builds this King Giant ass suit, and gets home. Yeah, you can't top that. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
True.
And the villain as well, obviously, is his business partner who goes against him. You know, I like that. Iron Man 2. God, I only watched this not a couple days ago, but you know, I went for a little Marvel marathon. I can't quite remember who the villain is in Iron Man 2. Oh, it's that guy who's actually an actor but not really a villain. What's the Iron Man 3?
Iron Man 3 is where he saves.
Guy Pearce is playing the villain, but the Mandarin is supposed to. I don't know. Spoiler.
Yeah, that's Iron Man. That's Iron Man 3. You can't say spoiler. That's Iron Man 3 2021, bro. Like, if you haven't seen that, you're living under a rock. Honestly, like. But in terms of films, you know, coming out with this better second trilogy. It's rare. It's very, very rare. It's not impossible, but there's a lot more work needs to go into the second, a lot more work needs to go into the third.
I think if you plan like 3 films in advance, like that's what you're gonna do, then just go for it. But if you do one, it works, and then you want to do another, that's when things start to go down to me. It's like no. If everything has been planned beforehand, like that's gonna work.
Yeah, I think that way makes sense, having all 3, because then that look, the third villain, is too OP for the first villain. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever the danger is in the scene. How do you guys? I think that as well, it's got to be done right, because say you've got a trilogy, you're doing a trilogy, and the first villain's good, and the third villain's good, but the second villain's a bit, it's okay. It just becomes like a filler episode that you get in the series. Do you know what I mean? Because now you're thinking about series, right? Is there a series that you've watched where every episode keeps getting better and better and better, or you just have the first episode which is good, filler, a really good episode, and then just more fillers? Do you know what I mean? You can say no. It's because you guys are thinking
no.
It's good.
I mean, it's related to that, but when Marvel announced that Thanos was coming, to me, any villain that was not Thanos, I was like not worried, because I knew he was gonna be the big villain.
Yeah,
like,
he's
before that. I wasn't worried. Like Thor is not gonna die in the second film.
Exactly.
And to me, I'm not gonna say I was still in the film and watching them, but I was like, now the big one is Thanos, and they're gonna get rid of that. So I'm not worried what's gonna happen in between. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. So let's kind of like slowly like divert.
No, it's not. I kind of like this where we're going.
Oh, do you think? It's good
I
though.
think it's
Like,
just, it's raw. It's good.
Yeah, you literally can just start talking one thing and just leave to other things. Do you know what I mean?
Touching upon sequels and stuff. Sorry, I have an itchy ear, so this might look weird on video.
Get nasty.
Hey.
I want to get my own soundboard and have my own sound effects. Like, get nasty. Imagine.
And it's just random parts of us going action and reaction.
Yeah, literally.
But no, upon sequels, what's everyone's opinions on prequels?
Prequels. I think it depends. It all depends, because it depends on how they release it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, as in like if they release the prequel first and then a movie, or movie then prequel.
Well, yeah, because some series they release the start 1, 2, 3. Oh shit, prequel 4, 5, 6, 7. Do you know what I mean? And it is a bit out of order, it's a bit out of place. For Marvel, let's just simply talk about Marvel. Captain Marvel, which was the second last film to come out for Marvel, I believe, is actually meant to go before Iron Man. So that's
okay,
the first
but
film.
the whole Marvel timeline and stuff like that I don't think that counts as a prequel. I think that's just a whole big expanded universe telling its individual stories. Kind of like Harry Potter. Harry Potter is a big universe, and you have Fantastic Beasts. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes prequels aren't needed. One that I can think of off the top of my head right now was probably done okay, not and pretty good, was Monsters University, because you got to know a little bit more about Mike. Because in the first movie, it was all about Sully and Boo. You didn't really get to know Mike very well, and then the prequel was about Mike and how he wanted to be the the scary one and stuff like that. I feel like that one's a pretty good prequel sequel franchise thing. But I feel like in some cases some of them are not really needed.
I mean, you need a
it all
prequel
depends
about a character that you don't know already, or that you don't know much of it. I think that's when a prequel, like say, okay, let's go for it. If you haven't told me the story of that character, I want to know what happened to him and how he got there, or how she
to where he is.
Yeah, but like trying to do a prequel of a character that has already had, like, I don't know, two films, like that to me doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm gonna tell you the story when he was young. I don't care. Like, I've already seen the
Money
good
hungry
stuff.
bitches. They're like, we see this is doing good. We want the money. Give us the money.
I mean, that's what Star Wars was trying to do. You know. I mean, some of them are really cool.
But I feel like Star Wars kind of did it in the right way. Because there's so many characters and, like, again, similar to, like, Marvel in a sense that it's such a big universe, such a big world that anything can happen. You can literally pick this person and be like, yep, and everyone will be like, oh, okay, it's a new person, it's a new story. Like, but yeah. I
mean, just talking about Star Wars, I mean, I love The Mandalorian. I think it's one of the best shows that it's out there. But what I think is really good about The Mandalorian is telling the stories of these people that before we didn't care about, because there was a war going on and we just cared about, the important people. But, there's people out there that are dying like soldiers that, they've got families and they've got,
I haven't seen it, guys.
We didn't know.
So the main character dies.
Nico!
Baby Yoda only exists in your imagination.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm just playing.
No spoilers here.
Okay.
I'm kidding. No spoilers for The Mandalorian, at least.
Don't you dare say it.
No. I'm just saying that The Mandalorian opens the world of Star Wars and it gives you like the voices of these people that you haven't heard before. And you've got very
I actually might start giving that one a watch, That's on Prime, is that correct?
It's on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus?
Oh,
that could be our next discussion.
You need to get Disney Plus.
Yeah.
We need to discuss what movie we're going to do next as well. If anyone has any ideas. Chat, I know if anyone's listening, if anyone has any suggestions on movies or series, then do let us know.
I think what I might do is I might pop an Instagram post, but hey guys, hosting X and Y, I need some ideas for movies to watch, and then see what they can...
sorry, Mr. Unpopular on Instagram. He gets everyone talking to him.
You.
I do it and I get no responses.
Thank you. Yeah, for real. Sometimes I put up polls and stuff, and it's just me voting on there, like on my different accounts. Like 5 different accounts. Like, I'm famous.
One thing I wanted to say is, can we one day, one episode be about, do we need theaters anymore? Or do we not? I think it's quite interesting.
We can do anything.
Anything that has visually
creative. It can be games.
For us to watch.
It could be a game trailer. That's always a good one because game trailers these days are always so like.
Oh, wide.
Do you know what I mean? Like mocap and all of that. Like it's so crazy how a game can feel so realistic, even though it's not. AKA The Last of Us 2 that freaking scared me.
We have so much fun in the next episode.
I think even if you wanted to do a music video that's prolonged and has a nice story to it. We can do music videos.
We can actually. Well,
for example,
obviously this is a test, but we can put the video clip somewhere over
there,
or over there. Actually, I just realised it's flipped. I don't know. Somewhere around the screen.
Yeah, you can play it right here. As you can see, the video's playing now.
Oh my god!
What are you doing? What's going on?
I'm watching the video.
But no, I mean, I know we narrowed it down to today to just be film, but it can be anything creative. It could be even like adverts that we've seen.
But I mean, to be fair, guys, there is no.
Could even be just a lifestyle episode of like, hey guys, how are you? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a podcast. It's just us three idiots doing smart.
I'd love to like react to stuff. I mean,
reaction
I love that,
videos.
Like reactions, like music videos, trailers, whatever.
But see, stuff with that, we've got to be on it. We've got to be on it with what new stuff comes out as soon as it's out.
But the thing is, we don't even have to do new stuff though.
You know what I mean?
Yo,
so like Nico,
go to Discord. We need a podcast right now.
I was gonna say it doesn't have to be new stuff because there's some trailers that are like 1 million views, but I've never seen before. Do you know what I mean? Like we could always do those secret movies that no one's seen.
They've always got upcoming movie trailers for 2021. Upcoming games released.
Have you? You remember when you was? I don't know if it was just me, but remember when you was younger and then you'd see those fake trailers that like, oh, here's Shrek 5 in the year 2025. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we could always react to those spoof trailers as well. I remember I saw one, I think for Iron Man 4 when I was like really young. Obviously, when Iron Man 3 came out, they're like, this is Iron Man's 4 new trailer, and I was like, I'm gonna watch it because I
think-
want to
I
see,
think-
but it was just
what
clips of
else?
1, 2, and 3 all put together,
I'll put it to one. Yeah.
and then
that's what I'll-
explosions
I'll-
at the end. Oh!
Hey guys.
He's
sorry,
dropped
I
us.
fell off.
I've
Whoops.
fallen and I can't get back up.
I think as well. What you mentioned, Nico, is we could look at fan made trailers and fan made stuff, and we could compare that in
Is
comparison
that
to.
you trying to say that my YouTube channel is full of that shit? Because it
We
low
can
key
watch
is.
it. I think it'll be sick to watch the actual trailer for a movie and a fan made trailer and comparing the both and be like, look, out of which trailer would you want to see more? Which trailer gives you more information about the film?
Ooh,
Just like
that's
even
always a
that
good
stuff,
one.
reactions, comparisons, and then again, whatever people who
We did
think
also
that they
talk
want to
about
hear.
a series that's finished, watching the first episode, discussing what we feel happened in the first episode,
Our
and
thoughts.
then guess what could happen in the finale. Like we watched the last episode and we see
Right.
if our predictions are correct. We did talk about that as well.
Yeah, we did.
But like I said, this is a test, a pilot. As you can tell, my overlays and
Yep.
everything is very scuffed. It's very
I can't even.
not
I'm
PG
actually just watching it
shit.
on my phone. Let me.
um.
Not PG.
But-
Are you streaming on Twitch or YouTube, Nico?
I am doing it on Twitch,
Twitch.
but I feel like I might have to move it onto YouTube once I figure all that stuff out. Because
Okay, I
obviously
think
my
you should
YouTube channel
download the
is
video.
very film related
Related.
stuff, so it would only make sense. But
I just want to have a look at the stream. If that's
It-
alright.
our camera quality is obviously very shit because this is webcam, so don't expect anything fancy from this podcast. Not yet. Not when we have a sponsorship and a budget. Then we can up the production a little bit. But hopefully
can
everything
have that,
sounds
yeah.
all right, and you can hear our beautiful, sexy voices. We can do some
There you
ASMR
go.
right now.
We
We should have a whole podcast
Yes.
and just ASMR.
Should we shout out some guys who could potentially sponsor us? Like
No,
Sennheiser?
no, no, because it might take this video down.
They're like, cancel. Sony, it's discreetly, you know.
This
So yeah,
is
we
definitely
love
not
talking about films. We
snowball
love
mic.
companies like Sony, Sennheiser, you know, Netflix.
Maybe not so much.
Yeah,
like-
we love those companies, you know.
Yeah. Best.
So hopefully they'll plug us in it.
And now we just wait. Wait for the money.
End
That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, guys, I'm pretty happy with
How today
today's
went.
Yeah.
episode, the pilot episode.
Yeah.
You know,
This
as
is the
many
beginning of
pilots go,
something
it
great.
could never come back, or it could come back bigger and better. So
We are coming back. Coming back
maybe.
for sure.
We will probably see you guys
We are
in the
maybe.
next couple of days. To be honest,
Maybe
I think-
next week, probably. I say maybe every Wednesday might be our day.
Maybe this week if like a really good trailer drops.
I think
Yeah.
yeah.
Depends what happens,
Yeah.
really.
To it.
Depends
Yeah.
on the film world, what happens in the film world, and
Pretty much. So, guys, I want to say thank you very much for joining the stream. Thank you very much for watching the video. You are listening to
action and
Reaction.
reaction.
You are listening to Action and Reaction.
Cue credits.
Credits. Hey, what is
That
people?
was awesome. That was awesome.
Anyways,
That
I've
was-
been Nico Nee, and these guys have been. And then,
Mikael here.
oh, okay. Apparently, there's
I'm
two
Nico
Nikos
there.
here. I hope you guys join Action and Reaction, and we will see you guys next time. Bella ciao.
Bye.
Bye.